recording. Hi.
Hello.
Welcome to Bubbles Interviews, Karthik. This is a video project, people who took unconventional career paths. Can we know about you?
Sure. Hey, Aicha. Thanks for having me over. Yeah, I mean, I'm the co-founder of a company called Envision. What we do is we help people who are blind or low vision, using AI to help them live more independently. So our company makes these AI glasses that has a camera on it. It's got a speaker and it's got microphones. And what the camera does is it sees the world for a blind person and then speaks it out to them. So if someone is blind or low vision, they are wearing our glasses. They can quite simply just wear them, go to a restaurant, read what's on a menu, for example, or they could be at a train station and they could get help in navigating around independently because the AI can read things around you, can recognize if certain people are there, can give you descriptions of what's happening in front of you. So that's what we do. We've been doing it for the last 8 years now.
Amazing. This is like you are creating an impact that many individuals' lives. That's really great. I have many questions.
Okay.
Let's start with what did you study in education, or was there something that before influenced your education decision? What made you study that thing?
Well, my dad influenced my education decision, as in he forced me to pick up engineering.
Okay, great.
I come from India, where when I was growing up, there were only two legal professions. One is a doctor and one is an engineer. So if you didn't pick any of them, they will disown you from your family.
Not a lawyer also?
No, lawyers sometimes, if your parents were also lawyers, but you had to, if you were middle class, Indian, then you had to either pick a doctor or an engineer. And I was very interested in computers from a very, very young age. I started to write code when I was around 11, 12 years old. And I built websites for my school. I used to work for a company I grew up in Oman, and I used to work in a company there when I was a kid during having internships, building websites. So I used to be really into computers, and I wanted to do computer science and engineering, but my dad was like, there's no future in computers. And he was very afraid that I will end up in an IT company in India, because those jobs are not great,
Yeah, sometimes it's, I will say, called rat race, but it's something like there is something that you are trying, and the thing was going away from all the time.
Yes, they kept saying, oh, you finish this high school and then you do whatever you like, and then you finish college and you will do whatever you like. But my dad put me in engineering. Yeah. I studied electrical engineering. I had no interest in it whatsoever. And then after that, I realized I just did not like studying anymore. Actually, I don't like this idea that you sit inside a classroom and then you are with 40 other people, 50 other people, and then everybody's learning the same thing, and everyone's just learning from a book. Yeah. And there's really no connection to what you learn and what you do, right? Or what you want to do. So I just realized that learning in a proper university setting is not for me anymore. So I pretty much stopped my formal education, but I still learn every day. Yeah. I think that's a given. Yeah.
So you studied your bachelor's in electronics.
Yeah.
And then what did you decide to experiment with? For example, after you get diploma, you can do anything. What was your first thing you created? Or was there something that somewhere in between with the Envision and your graduation?
Yeah. When I was in school, I was in college, we had our own student startup. Actually, interestingly, it is with my current co-founder. So great. Yeah. My co-founder and I, his name is also Karthik.
Yes, exactly. I messaged him before this accidentally. I saw Envision Karthik sent.
Yeah, so people, in fact, the funny thing is, during the earliest days of Envision, where we didn't have money to pay for email IDs, right? We shared the same email ID for over 2 years. So, when you send to karthik@letsenvision.com, it would go to me and him. We both share the same inbox. And, depending on who sends the email, either he will respond or I will respond. Okay. So we used to share an email. But yeah, we used to have our own student startup. in college, and then we continue to keep building things even after college. But when I was in college, the final year of college,
Yeah.
I realized I did not want to work for very big companies. So I built, I wanted to work for startups, and smaller companies. So I applied to over 200 startups before graduating, and I didn't get into almost any of them because most of the startups there, they wanted me to do coding assignments and brain puzzles. I'm not good at that kind of stuff. But the last startup that I interviewed with, before like graduation, was this company that was basically building very interesting customer support tools for like mobile apps. At that time, it was very novel because mobile apps were not a big thing back in 2012, 2013. It was still kind of growing, right? People just started to find Instagram, and people were still using Facebook and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And this company had a very interesting interview process. The founder of the company spoke to me on a call, and then he said, "You know what, Karthik? I'm not going to give you like any of the puzzles or anything like that. Like, it's not the way we hire." He was very much into Bitcoin back in 2012 when Bitcoin was like so
8,000.
yeah, like
Something.
so niche,
Okay.
right? It was so niche, and he was into Bitcoin. And he said, "Listen, I want you to build a Chrome extension that can track the price of Bitcoin for me, and give me some predictions on what the price will be like in a few days, right? Just use the basic statistics prediction tools, build it for me, and give it to me, and if I like it, I will hire you." And so I built it for him, and he liked it, and then they hired
Yay.
me.
Great.
So that's how I got my first job in a startup after college. But for me, that was the realization that there are companies that are also like very different in the way they hire. I just need to find them. I need to find my tribe basically, because I realized that he thought the way I thought, I thought the way he thought, to be honest. He had a very different approach to like what it means to be a software engineer, what it means to be someone who builds things. And yeah, for him it was just like, okay, I will give you the assignment, you work on it, you build it, show me what you can really build, and then we hire you.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
So, how long you been working there?
Oh, I was working there for about 6 or 7 months.
I want to ask about, let's say, you observed what the operation of startup going,
Yeah.
and then you built your own startup. Maybe this video reaches people about building things and their startups.
Yeah.
So how do you see that creating something not existed before?
Yeah, I think the thing is, people often underestimate. If you're somebody who really wants to start something, I think it's very, very important to do it with the right people and on the right problem, right? I think the thing I realized when I was working in that startup, and then a couple of other startups I worked at as well before I came to the Netherlands to start Envision, they all kind of had people that the founders were basically people who liked working with each other, and they were also working on problems they genuinely believed in, right? Like they really believed that this is something the world needs, and they went after that. Because if you don't have these two things, I realized that building a startup or any company is so hard. Like there's just so many things that will go wrong from the beginning, and I feel like I read this quote somewhere which made a lot of sense. It said every successful business is like a borderline disaster waiting to happen. There's always something going wrong, right? There's like always some part of the puzzle that is breaking or something that's not right. So there's so much energy that will go into all those kind of problems, and I realized that you have to do it with the right person and the right problem. And I was lucky enough to kind of have both, because with my co-founder I realized that we have this bond, we have this understanding, and mostly this shared ambition, right? The shared vision, and we are not very
Pun intended?
yeah,
Vision.
yeah, definitely pun intended. Yeah, so that's the thing, and I think I'm also working on a problem where no matter how bad it gets, I feel like there is always a reason to be grateful for, right? There have been some very, very awful times building, Envision. There have been some very difficult times for us. But through all of that, I realized that the pain, the effort that we put into, it translates into a meaningful impact for somebody, right? Like, I have almost like a scrapbook full of emails, messages, pictures, things that our users have sent us over the years. And whenever I feel very low, it's like, how people, put on a comedy show and like try to lighten the mood, right? Or they listen to music and they lighten the mood, or they read something and lighten the mood. For me, it's like when I read all the things that people have sent us over the years, like thank you messages, messages telling how people have been using our classes to live life more independently, do things they've never done before, experience things they haven't experienced before, that makes it worth it.
Amazing.
So, yeah,
That's
so you
great
have
to
to
hear.
pick a problem that you feel like, yes, like it makes sense to build this
Great.
because it is actually something that people care about and use,
Recently, I've seen your prototype on museums. Can we talk about this? What is it about? And
Yeah, so
I love museums, so I want to know more.
yeah, no, I think me too. I really love museums, just going to different places, like museums in different countries that I visit. But for me, when I go there, right, I think we have people in our company who are blind or low vision. We have people in the team who are blind. And we often hear from them that when they go to a museum or an exhibition, they don't enjoy it as much, right? I think we were talking about the Escher Museum once during lunch, and this blind, low vision employee in my company, she was like, "Yeah, we don't really, do like I don't do museums as much. I don't find it fun because, I mean, I can't really experience the artwork
Yeah.
the way people experience it." And it's often more than that, it's also like kind of boring because they get these audio guides, right? And then they just put them on. You don't know which artwork you're at, you just press some number and then it just gives you this long monologue about the artwork itself, right? And that's when we got this idea thinking, so we've got this technology which is an AI glasses, an AI companion that a blind person can talk to and get things done from.
Yeah.
We thought, okay, why not take the same AI companion but then make it work with museums? So we took it to the museum here in Amsterdam, and we started to like just have the AI companion describe the artwork for the our blind employee, right? We just went with her and we just took the AI companion around. We call it Ally. So we took Ally around. We started using it, asking it questions and stuff, and it did quite well.
Yeah.
And then we thought, okay, if the descriptions that are coming from this are like quite generic, but if we work with the museums and actually get descriptions that are approved by the artwork, that are approved by the museums, we can get much richer descriptions, and a blind person can actually enjoy this, right? So we went to San Francisco, once, and then we wanted to like pilot this project with a couple of museums in San Francisco, and then we worked with a blind group in San Francisco whose job is to make museums more accessible for blind people. I mean, they're all volunteers.
Yeah.
And their organization is all about how do we make art more accessible. And we worked with them, and they helped us to refine the descriptions that the AI gives. And then we took it to the Asian Arts Museum and the San Francisco Museum of Craft and Design. And we basically did like a pilot with them, like about like I think 500 to 600 blind people. They came, they over the next couple of months they used Ally to like just point at an artwork and then say, hey, can you describe this for me? And Ally, because it has all the knowledge of the artwork and it knows how to describe an artwork to a blind person, it basically does that.
I have a very specific question, very unplanned one, but the thing is, let's say you are describing something to a blind person, and sometimes let's say you use colors, and if they don't see the light, that's confusing. I don't know their experience, but why would you say any color? Because it should be something else. I don't know what is about this.
Yeah, it's a great question. In fact, blind people experience color, but they don't experience it like the way we do, right? we can see color,
Yeah.
right? Whereas for a blind person, color is like a very functional concept. So for example, when they're picking clothes, right, they are aware of, that white color goes well with, black color, right, or gray colors.
Because of the society.
Yes.
Okay.
Because of how society is, or at least like how to present themselves
Yeah,
well, right?
course.
Like they're very, very cautious. Like blind people are very aware that the world is watching them, because the moment a blind person walks into a room, you can immediately tell they have a cane, they have a guide dog.
Yeah.
So they want to present themselves well. So they have different functions for color in their life, right? And they go ahead and use that. Like for example, they know that red is like to stop, green is to go, right? If they use, for example, if someone tells them, oh, it's the red light, they know that, okay, red light means I have to stop, right? If someone, says turns green, and then it, they know that green light is to go. So they have, that kind of an
Functions of the
experience.
colours.
Exactly. So when they're talking about an artwork, yes, sometimes it doesn't make too much sense, and we try not to go too deep on it. But again, the number of people who are blind that cannot experience any form of color is actually very little.
Ah.
Most people, so blindness is a spectrum, right? So you've got people who are completely blind since birth, right? And then you usually have most of the people somewhere in the middle, which means that they can see shapes, they can see colors, right? But then for them, it's like very fuzzy. Or for example, in some blindnesses, what happens is you can only see a pinhole size, from your eye, right? The other parts of it are gone. Or sometimes it's like the center is gone. They have, if it's cataract, for example, your central vision is gone. Like you see splotches in front of you. So you can see something, but you can see color, you can see, shapes, but it's like, it's not usable. Your vision is not usable in any way, right? So for most people, they do get a sense, they have a sense of color. They're able to sense when you say something is like light purple or dark purple, they're able to sense that to some extent. So just having, color descriptions in the artwork description, like colors in the artwork description helps, because you never know what kind of a blind person is going to use this, right?
Thank you so much for derailing the for this question, because I think it's what most of the people are not aware about this.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah.
for explaining. I want to ask about you have a story on the framework with the bill. When I met first what Envision is doing in Rotterdam, you had a bill. Can you talk about this?
Yes. Yeah. So in our office we have this very, very special 20 euro note, and we frame this 20 euro note. The story behind it is, so I came to the Netherlands in 2017 to start Envision as a company. So I didn't come here to the Netherlands to study. My co-founder was studying at the TU Delft, and the thing was, Envision was a part of his master's thesis, right? So he came to India one vacation, and he said, you know what, I don't know what exactly I'm going to do for my thesis, but I think, I have some ideas. And previously we had visited a blind school in India together, just to give a talk to kids about what it is to be a designer, an engineer, and stuff like that. And I was just having this idea that, we could maybe use AI to help blind people live independently, right? So we started talking about this idea, and I was in between jobs. I just quit my consulting role, and I was very much like chilling, and I wanted some project to do, some fun stuff to work on. And he said, I need to do a thesis, but in my college they will allow, if I can convince my supervisor, they'll let me do a thesis in this thing, right? So Envision was technically like a thesis, and the other Karthik would spend his time on design and research, and I will build the prototypes. So that's how we basically started building Envision. And in 2017 I moved here, and we had no money. So we basically each took a loan from Rabobank, right, to survive in the Netherlands.
Entrepreneur.
Yeah. I still don't know how Rabobank trusted us with that loan, because I didn't even have a valid visa when I was talking to those guys, right? So I had to apply for a visa and stuff like that. So we decided to bootstrap the company, because not a lot of people initially believed this was possible. they did not know what AI was. Like today, AI has so much,
Yes.
attention. But in 2017, nobody knew what AI, nobody cared about AI, right? And so they didn't believe that AI could help blind people, right? So we didn't didn't have a lot of success in getting funding.
Yeah.
So we thought, okay, we have to somehow bootstrap this ourselves, right? And what we ended up doing was starting a subscription service for our app. So we gave part of the app as a free trial, and then after a free trial, people could purchase a subscription, and that's how we kept the company afloat, or decided to keep the company going for at least 6 months to a year. So we did this, and I remember we used to go to different exhibitions at that time. So there used to be a lot of events organized by blind and low vision organizations in the Netherlands. We used to visit those exhibitions and events and pitch our app, which at that time was so new, nobody knew about it. And I still remember
Someone called me, and then it's two parts. This is a very unusual thing for Babas interviews.
Yes.
Can we start from the Utrecht? What happened?
Sure. So with Utrecht, so we went to the exhibition there, and we said, and I ended up doing a 30-minute pitch. And then once the pitch was over, the workshop or seminar was done, people were like asking me some questions, and then everybody left, right? And the only person who was sitting in that room was this 70-year-old, 75-year-old woman, right?
Yes.
This grandma. She was sitting there, and she said, I get postcards from my grandchildren for Christmas, and they write to me a lot. They keep traveling the world with their parents, and wherever they are, they write like a postcard to me.
Yeah.
And they send it to me. And every time I have to read it, I need to like ask somebody to do it for me. And can your app read this postcard? And she got a postcard with her. Like she came with the postcard, and she gave that to me. And I showed her how to use the app, and I set it up on her phone, and we read the postcard together that her grandchild had written to her, and she was really like shocked, happy. She didn't know what to do, so she kept reading the postcard again and again and again with the app. In the end, she said, okay, I want to pay for this. Like, are you guys going to charge me some money or something? And we said, yeah, we have a 2-week free trial. After the free trial, you can go to App Store, you can put in your credit card information, and then you can connect your Apple ID with your credit card and do all that. And she's like, stop, I don't want to know anything. How much is it? I said, it's 20 euros. And then she just took out 20 euros from her pocket, and she put it in my hand, and she's like, okay, I don't know anything about Apple and credit card and linking my Apple ID and doing all of that stuff. Just take the money and then just,
I need
put,
that.
just put whatever you need to do on the app for me. Yeah. So we usually used to charge like 6 months, 20 euros for 6 months at that time. But I gave her a 2-year subscription. She was just too sweet. She was too sweet. I was like, you know what? I think, I don't want you to go through the hassle of sending me 20 euro notes every 6 months or something. Just take a 2-year subscription.
Great.
So
amazing.
So we still have that. It's a proof. For the first time in my life, somebody had just wanted to give me money for what I made. And in the sense that, I used to get paid for all the other things I used to do. We had our own student startup and stuff, but somewhere this was very special. Like the first cash that you earn by first exchange of value is so memorable, right? It's like you did something, you wrote a piece of code, you made an app, you put it out there, and
it works.
It worked. You just thought that nobody will like it, but then somebody actually did. So I think that was very special.
I have 3 last questions. Okay.
Yeah.
So one of them is really short. So you are learning many things still, keep learning many things.
Yeah.
And then I have questions about that. What are you learning in autumn 2025?
Autumn 2025. So I'm learning how conversational AI works. I think a lot of the AI, so when first ChatGPT came out, everything was text.
Yeah.
So you had to type something to it, and it will type something back to you, right? And over time, it started to change. Last year, OpenAI introduced like a speech model, right? So you had a ChatGPT advanced voice mode. Google introduced it as well with like the Gemini, AI models that they introduced. But very interestingly, for all those models, the way it used to work is there would be three separate models in the pipeline. So there'll be one, AI model that will convert your speech into text, and then there'll be the ChatGPT style AI model that will take text in and then give out text. And there will be another speech model that will take the text and then give you back the voice. So it happens so quickly that it feels kind of natural for you, right? But there is a lot of issues with that, right? For example, let's say the AI is telling me a joke, right? And I'm laughing. Then that laughter is a very human thing, which is information for the AI. It tells the AI without telling the AI that I'm enjoying what it's saying, right? That kind of nuance in human communication was very, very difficult to capture until recently. So now AI has gone to the point where it's able to understand speech directly and then give me speech back. So you can do things like or ha ha ha, and you could speak in an angry tone, and the AI can start to learn, like pick those nuances up.
There's more nuances in languages also, like when you say in Turkish something you don't like, you say.
That will still, I think, take more time for AI to pick. But then things like laughter, right? It's a very universal human thing. So I'm learning how those models work, because it will definitely unlock a lot of interesting applications for us, because a lot of the people who use Ally are also older people. And anything that makes technology a little bit more human for them, they actually appreciate it.
Cool. Something that I'm curious, what are you building for your future self? Now you have a company, you are building stuff, and then what are you envisioning for your future?
I used to have these milestones in my life, like, I need to have this big of a company, and I need to ensure that my company is known, across the world by these many people and stuff like that. I think the older I get, I still have those ambitions, but I just genuinely have started to realize that in life, for me at least, there are some things that are very, very important. I think for me, I've realized the importance of health over the last few years, and so my future self, the wishes for my future self have changed. I think fundamentally, I want to try and hold on to my vitality as a person for as long as possible. And that means not just being physically fit. I think being somebody who is
mentally also.
Yes, intellectually open to new ideas, right? Like being okay with being wrong. I think I want that, because I think if I'm okay with being wrong, that naturally I'm less afraid of being curious. And the more I can be curious, the more I know my life is going to be with that energy and that spark, right? So it's that abstract idea or principle that I want to retain my vitality mentally, emotionally, physically, for as long as possible.
Amazing. Right? Thank you so much for sharing your story and your vision. I have one small surprise. So this bubbles interviews. I have bubbles for you. Please take one bubble to respond to the last question.
Yes.
So we make bubbles and I ask the last question.
Ooh. Yeah.
So do you remember?
Yeah.
When you were a child, people ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? Do you remember your answer?
Yeah.
What was it?
I said I wanted to be like Bill Gates.
Okay, cool. Sort of, you are doing it.
Yeah, but no, I wanted to, I think until the age of 10, I wanted to be a pilot. And then when I was 11 years old, I discovered programming.
Yes.
By accident. And then I realized that I wanted to be like a software engineer. And then when I became 12 or 13, I suddenly discovered Steve Jobs, Bill Gates,
Yeah.
and all the. Especially, I remember when I was 13, I watched the 2005 Stanford speech by Steve Jobs, the
Okay.
"Stay Hungry, Stay Foolish" one.
Okay.
I remember watching that on my dial-up internet connection, and I'm like, okay, that's what I want to do.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, in a way, I'm grateful I could.
Amazing. Thank
Be-
you so much.
Yeah.
It was great.
Can I keep this?
Of course, it's yours.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye.